Every time I walk into a lab, I feel like I've stepped into a place of magic. Not the movie kind, but the quiet kind. The hum of the machines, the glow of monitors. It truly is a cathedral of curiosity. Every experiment is a small act of exploration. You don't always know what you're going to find out, only that are you brave enough to ask the right questions. But there's something you don't say out loud about science. It is not a profession for instant gratification. Behind every discovery is a mountain of manual labor, endless pipetting, endless waiting, and endless repetition. At some point, I realized something really uncomfortable. The very place designed for discovery was exhausting the people meant to discover. So I decided to ask a really dangerous question. What is a true job of a scientist? Not the equipment, not the tools. The job is rather simple. We observe, we ask questions, propose hypotheses, perform tests, and we interpret meaning. But here is the problem. For over 100 years, our laboratories have essentially remained the same. Sure, the instruments have changed a bit, but the work hasn't. We hire brilliant minds and train them to become professional pipetters. And every time we bring automation into the conversation, fear follows. Will machines take over our jobs? We've heard this story before. In the early 1970s, when ATMs became common and popular, people predicted the death of the bank teller. Instead, the number of teller jobs actually increased. You might be wondering why. Technology didn't replace them, it elevated them. From processing transactions to providing insights. Same thing happened when cars replaced horses. Entire industry vanished, but even more were born. Technology doesn't erase humans. It redefines what humans are for. But this didn't really hit me until 2018. I was working on a raw material assessment project, 3 weeks in the bench, and a month waiting for analytics. I had to do that process 4 more times. 6 months of my life gone. That was my breaking point. I remember thinking, there has to be a better way to do science than this. And that's where my journey to automation began. We did not start with giant robots. We started small. We took big, slow lab experiments and shrank them to tiny versions that could run many at the same time. Instead of one experiment taking hours, we could now run 8, faster, cleaner, and with the same quality. Suddenly, work that used to take weeks could be done in days. We were not trying to do this because it looked impressive. We did this because every time we gave a work to a machine, we gave scientists something priceless back. Time. Time to think, time to reason, and time to imagine. We were not removing humans from science. We were letting them be scientists again. Then we went further. We automated filtration processes. We clarified cell culture from tiny volumes. We designed workflows that ran while people slept. And now we're working on bringing autonomous mobile robotics into our labs. Robots that transport samples from one instrument to the other. No gowning in, no gowning out. Curiosity flowing through the lab like electricity. But here's the thing, physical automation is only half the story. Because a lab that doesn't talk to itself is still a broken lab. We need a digital nervous system. call it a lab bus or a unified namespace, a way for every instrument, every data set, and every idea to connect. Imagine this, you're traveling on a Sunday, an idea strikes you. You sketch out a hypothesis on your phone, and when you return to work Monday morning, that experiment is already run. That is not science fiction. That is the power of interdisciplinary science. If multiple departments from IT, facilities, development and characterization teams, QC, QA work together, I believe we will unlock more of the human potential and be augmented by automation. That is science finally catching up with the speed of human imagination. And here's a big idea I want to leave you with. Automation is not the end of the scientist, it is the return of the scientist. The question isn't whether robots belong in the lab. The question is, do we still want scientists who have time to think? Because when we stop doing science with our hands, we finally have time to do science with our minds. Thank you.